Hey everyone, welcome back. What? What? Too scary? Okay, hold on. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is... Again? This is too scary? Okay, alright. Hey everyone, welcome back. What? Oh, fine. Sorry about that, you guys. My producer didn't think that any of my Halloween costumes were appropriate for the video. My producer, you want to meet him? Come on. Come on, they want to meet you. And here he is. He's Mr. Pumpkin. I don't know if this is the same Mr. Pumpkin that I had last year, but if it's not, this new pumpkin is making an appearance. But anyways, hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Vanessa if you are new here. So last year on this channel, I posted a video about Halloween. Every year I post videos about Halloween, but last year I received a lot of backlash for the videos that I produce. Now, one video in particular that got a lot of backlash was my suggestion of watching particular scary films during the Halloween season. Each of the scary videos in the movie were about the Warrens, Ed and Lorraine Warrens, which are demonologists that are recognized in the Catholic Church. From all the comments and all the dislikes on that video, I realized that my viewers weren't very happy with that video. And honestly, I'm going to be totally honest here, receiving all that feedback had me wanting to delete that video like every single day during the month of October into November, and I still get comments on that video today of people just disliking the whole video entirely. After much reflection and watching back the movies that I suggested in that video, I stand by 2019 Vanessa and her suggestions of those movies. And you may be wondering why. Why do I encourage people to watch these movies? Well, because I believe that these movies are very helpful in the evangelizing of the Catholic Church. I believe that there is a Catholic undertone in movies such as the movies I suggested in last year's videos that can bring people closer to the Catholic Church. And in this video, I am going to be proving this claim. So in this video, I'm going to be justifying the claim that scary movies are beneficial to the Catholic Church. Now, before we begin, I just want to clearly define my terms and explain what I mean by scary movies. When I'm talking about scary movies, I'm talking about scary movies where they deal with stuff that can actually happen, and the resolution in the movie is often brought by the Catholic Church or by Christianity or believing in God. Now, I'm not talking about movies that are devil-based and they're all about the devil and the devil conquers, or monster movies. What I'm talking about here are movies where people are dealing with spirits or a haunted house where a priest gets called in and it shows that the Catholic Church is the only church that can combat this evil. So why do I believe that these movies are beneficial in evangelizing people to the church? Well, I have three main points. The first main point is that it shows evil exists. The second main point is that it shows that the Catholic Church is the only institution that can combat this evil. And number three, these movies have Catholic undertones, which has the viewer not notice them right away, but Catholic remains in their minds throughout the movies and following after. So let us dive a little bit deeper into my first main point, that it shows evil exists. There's a famous quote that I feel like really proves this claim. This quote is attributed to Charles Baudelaire, who is a French poet, and this quote was later made more famous by Kevin Spacey in the 1995 film Unusual Suspects. The quote is, "The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist." The devil is constantly trying to persuade people that he doesn't exist and that evil can't be traced back to him. By doing this, the devil has power over people, because if people don't believe the devil exists, they believe that evil is just in the world and is not anything that we can combat. Think about it. The main way that we can combat the evil of the devil is to reject the devil. And we do this by rejecting temptation, rejecting sin, and accepting God into our lives. But before we do this, we accept the devil into our life. Constantly, we have to object sin. Constantly, we have to reject sin and come closer to God to get away from this evil. And the devil knows that Christians know this. And so the devil tries to persuade people into believing that he doesn't exist. And so it's very, very important for us to prove that evil exists. The movies that I suggested in that video exposes the evil of the devil and how God can conquer all. Now, like I said, there are some movies that try to glorify the devil, some movies that try to glorify evil. Those are not the movies I'm talking about here. I'm talking about movies that show that God is the only way to combat this evil. Another reason why I suggest watching scary movies to expose that evil exists is because Movies give us a feeling. Now think about it. Think about your favorite movie that you've ever watched and think about the impact it's left on your life. Now I watch love story movies and I walk away feeling like I'm in love even though I don't have a crush on anyone. Like honestly, can someone help me find a crush because it's getting kind of lonely. But literally movies play a role in our lives and they give us a feeling. There's studies that prove this. Studies show that movies give us a visceral feeling that makes us feel as though we are a part of a movie. So if someone loses a loved one in a movie, we get sad as though we lost a loved one. And it's a crazy thing. So watching scary movies actually kind of puts our minds into thinking that we are a part of the movies. So we can experience or see this evil happening and seeing it being combated without us actually having to play a part in that story. The second claim that I have is that these movies show that the only way to combat this evil is through the Catholic Church. Scary movies such as the ones I suggested in that video often have a religious force combating the evil, especially movies that are adapted or based on true stories, such as the movies that I suggested in that video. The religious source or good source that combats the evil is often the Catholic Church, whether it be a priest, an exorcist, or the church itself, or someone who is a part of the Catholic Church. It's often the Catholic Church that is combating this evil. And this is because in real life, the Catholic Church is the only institution that truly can combat the evil. That is why in movies we see the use of crucifixes, holy water, and exorcists. Now, these are not something made up by Hollywood. This is something that's actually used in real life to combat evil. In showing the use of these Catholic items and the Catholic Church combating evil, it shows the viewer that the only way that they can combat evil is to coming to God and the church that He established. Now, oftentimes in these movies, the Catholic Church is the last resort of the person. They try everything. They try leaving the house. They try doing a seance. They try doing multiple things within these scary movies to combat the evil, but the only way that the evil is ever actually combated is usually when the Catholic Church is brought in, whether that's through a demonologist like Ed and Lorraine Warren that's recognized by the Catholic Church, or a crucifix, or holy water, a priest. And with that being said, let us move on to point number 3, which are Catholic undertones in the movie. Oftentimes in these movies, there are various Catholic undertones that the viewer may not recognize within the movie that are not as obvious as a priest or a priest saying, here's holy water, or holding up a big crucifix. There are other Catholic undertones within these movies that the viewer may not notice while watching the movie. Some Catholic undertones that are in the movie that may not be obvious to the viewer are crucifixes on the wall. Now, I recently was watching the Amityville horror movie, and this is a thing that Ed and Lorraine Warren went and investigated, but in this movie, they don't talk about Ed and Lorraine Warren. But while watching the movie, I noticed a lot of crucifixes that were subtly placed in places that didn't really play a role in the movie. Now, we see oftentimes an obvious like crucifix in the screen, but these crucifixes were like in the back. And because I love looking for crucifixes in movies, I was able to identify them. For instance, there was a crucifix on the wall above the beds of the children, or the mother was wearing a crucifix around her neck. These are subtle undertones that the viewer may not be able to identify, but will stick in their minds as they leave the movie theater, as they think back about the movie, or every time they watch the movie, they're seeing these, I guess you could say, subliminal messages in the movie. Now, another example of this is in this movie, I believe it's called Devil. I don't really suggest watching it. I haven't watched it in a while, but this is one part that I do remember, hence explaining to you that a viewer will remember this. But these people are trapped in an elevator, and the security guard notices that there is an evil in the elevator. So what he does is he starts praying. He starts saying the Hail Mary in Spanish. Now, a viewer who doesn't know the Hail Mary may not catch on to that. A viewer that doesn't know Spanish may not catch on to that. But there are Catholic prayers that are often said in these movies, whether it be the Our Father, the Hail Mary, or other Latin prayers. So a person who is not a part of the Catholic faith or doesn't know Catholic prayers may just hear words being said, but those words may stay with them, and those words are Catholic prayers. And this leads me to probably my 4th main point. I didn't say there were 4, but this point kind of wraps it all together. these movies are great for evangelizing because these scary movies that have Catholic concepts in them are not only watched by Catholics who know about Catholic things, it's often watched by people who are not Catholic, whether they be Protestants or whether they be atheists or whether they be by any religious group. People love watching scary movies, getting that adrenaline rush from watching them. And so they watch these movies, and honestly, now they have the Catholic Church put in their face, whether they want to watch it or not, because they love watching the scary movie, but the Catholic Church is there. Whether it be undertones or the main character is Catholic or the priest combats the evil, the Catholic Church plays a big role in those movies. If you ask my opinion, the Catholic Church is the main character in all of these movies. So that is why I think that these movies are great in a way of evangelizing people, because it shows people that there is evil in the world. It shows that the only way to combat this evil is through the Catholic Church, and it helps people recognize Catholic things in our everyday society, whether they be crucifixes, holy water, a priest, exorcisms, the Catholic Church itself, relics, statues. These movies are great to show people an inside world to the Catholic Church and maybe pique some interest in them. They're like, wow, what is that thing she's wearing around her neck? Is that a crucifix? I don't know what that is, so I'm going to Google it, and hopefully it will lead people to the Catholic Church. So that is why I said to watch these movies. It's not because I'm trying to encourage you to bring evil into your house. No way, Jose. I would never do that. But I love these movies because they show that the only way to combat evil is through the Catholic Church. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that encouraged you to not hate the video I put out last year. Now, if you guys want to know the movies I'm talking about, I'll have the video linked down below where I have those suggestions. Of course, if you don't want to watch scary movies, do not watch them. If you don't think that it's a good idea to watch scary movies, do not watch them, but this is the reason why I suggested those movies in the first place. And so I'm kind of just trying to clear my name and make people think that I didn't just make that video not thinking things through. I wish I would have better represented my opinion and my idea in that video, but I failed to do so, so hopefully this makes up for that. But guys, I hope you have a lovely Halloween, a lovely All Saints Day, a lovely All Souls Day. I'll be praying for your loved ones, and you, I hope you'll be praying for mine as well, and I look forward to seeing you guys all in my next video. Bye-bye.